Part 6. What came after healing? People think the story ends when pain is gone. It doesn't. That's when responsibility begins. After Maria Sergeyevna's death, the house felt different. Not empty, echoing. Every step reminded me of her presence. The soft tap of her cane that I almost heard. The way she used to tilt her head when listening. The chair where she always sat, perfectly still, as if the world would come to her instead of the other way around. For the first time since the bus stop, I felt afraid again. Not of abandonment, of choice. Everything was mine now, not just property or authority, but direction. And freedom can be heavier than chains if you've never carried it before. I took a leave from work. Not because I was weak, but because I was honest. I traveled alone, no plan, no destination. I needed to hear my own thoughts without echoes of survival. In a small coastal town, I rented a room above a bakery. Every morning, the smell of bread woke me. I walked by the sea, letting the wind tangle my hair and my memories. One afternoon, an elderly woman sat beside me on a bench. "You look like someone who survived something," she said casually. I smiled. "Is it that obvious?" She nodded. "The ones who did, walk differently." That stayed with me. I realized something uncomfortable during those weeks. I had built my new life around proving I was no longer broken. Strong, capable, untouchable, but strength doesn't need witnesses. And healing doesn't require performance. So I stopped trying to be impressive. I just lived. When I returned, the company felt smaller. Not in size, in importance. I delegated more, trusted others, let go of control that was never meant to be permanent. One evening, while reviewing old files, I found a recording Maria Sergeyevna had made. Her voice filled the room. "If you are listening to this, it means I am gone," she said calmly. "And you are still standing. Good." I laughed through tears. She continued, "You may think your task is to protect what I built. It isn't. Your task is to build what I couldn't. Go further. Be kinder. Be braver." The recording ended, but the instruction didn't. I created a foundation, quietly. No press. No speeches. It helped women who had been abandoned, emotionally, financially, invisibly. Not with pity, but with tools. Lawyers, therapy, education, choice. I didn't put my name on it. Because this wasn't about legacy. It was about continuation. One evening, I received a message from a woman who had gone through the program. "I was left at a train station with my children," she wrote. "I thought my life was over. It wasn't." I sat still for a long time after reading that. The circle had closed. Years later, I ran into my ex-husband by accident. A grocery store, ordinary lighting, ordinary shelves. He looked surprised, not angry, not proud. Just tired. We nodded. Nothing else. I realized then that closure isn't a conversation. It's indifference. On the 10th anniversary of the night at the bus stop, I went there again. I didn't sit. I stood. Strong, calm, whole. I whispered a quiet thank you. Not to him, not even to fate. To the woman I had been. The one who didn't know she would survive, but stayed anyway. Some stories don't end with love. They end with truth. And truth, once found, never leaves you alone again. If you want, Part 7, Legacy, Next Generation, full emotional closure. A darker alternate reality, or a full 5,000, 7,000 word cinematic version. Just tell me, White Heart.